5,000, 6,000, 7,000, 8,000, 9,000, 10,000, I don't know. Somewhere in that range is the number of fillets I've cooked over my 17 years of professional cooking. Let me show you my favorite way to do it. Now let's go! First of all, I am working here with prime tenderloin. I bought this at Costco. It was actually like 4 of these for like $52. Awesome deal for filet. They look incredible. So first off, these have been tempered. Tempering just means to pull something out of the fridge prior to cooking. There's a lot of debate about whether or not you should actually do this. And my quick answer for you is yes, you should do it. But when people say let the steak come to room temp, that is never the case. Actually, letting a steak come to room temperature will take hours. For this size filet mignon, I just pulled them out of the fridge 30 minutes prior to cooking. If it was a really thick steak, I might do it for over an hour. And what tempering does is allow the steak to cook evenly. And besides the even cooking, if you take a really cold steak, it's a big hunk of cold matter, right? And so when you put a big piece of cold matter into a hot pan, it's taking energy away from the pan. You lose the energy, you lose the sear, you lose the sear, you lose the color, you lose the color, you lose the flavor, right? Makes sense. It's just logical thinking, right? Now, I like to hit my steaks with a little bit of neutral oil, and this for me acts a little bit like a binder. I just find when I do this that more seasoning sticks and stays on the steak, right? Whereas if I don't do this, I just see a lot more seasoning coming off in the pan, which I don't want. So just a light coating of oil, don't have to go crazy. Now I'm gonna be using some of my famous rosemary salt. If you know, you know. Amazing homemade seasoning. I'll put a link in the corner right now if you wanna watch that. And so I'm gonna first do either side, other side, and I just like to tap it in ever so slightly with my hand like so. Don't go too crazy with this. It is salt. And some Sergeant Gilbert reporting for duty. Now finely ground with the pepper, right? If you put too big a chunk of pepper on your steak, what are you gonna do? You're gonna lift the steak off the pan, losing your sear, color, flavor again, right? Logical thinking. Both sides. I'll just season my sheet pan a little bit here with salt and pepper so we can roll the edge. There, that looks amazing. Just using a steel pan here. We're gonna bring this up to high heat. Another important thing when you're cooking steak, not just steak, but anything really, is we're gonna bring the heat into this pan 3-4 minutes, then we add the oil, and then we start cooking. If you put the oil in too early, you risk burning that oil before you start cooking your food, right? So pan hot, then oil, then food. And if you follow that principle, it can only do you a lot of good. So there's a little bit of smoke coming off that pan now. That pan's been on for 4 minutes, and now we add some neutral oil. Steaks down. And we're gonna sear on all sides over medium-high heat. Just about 2 minutes on that side and we flip. Nice hard sear. Now back of the pan here, we sear the edges. We don't want to miss out, right? Steak has a lot of sides. And roll, like so. Now we just let them rest. Now, garlic, shallots. And with these shallots, just chop them in half like this. No need to peel. And with the garlic, all you're gonna do, just smash it, keep it in the skin, like so. Now leave the skin on, and I do this for a reason, right? You can do it either way, no big deal, but leaving the skin on makes it so the garlic doesn't burn so easily, right? It's almost like a protective layer on the outside, but it still cooks and unlocks its flavor. Okay, now back to the same pan here. We're gonna fire it back up. Now there's a nice mixture of beef fat and avocado oil in there. And we just drop all our veggies back in. Now let's sear off our shallots, right? And our garlic, all going in. Personally, I like to do extra aromatics like the garlic and the shallots because they are so good to eat afterwards. So once those are all seared off, turn them. Oh, I burned mine a little bit. That'll be all right. Burned onion is a flavor I definitely agree with. Some things you can burn when you're cooking, some things you can't. Burnt onion, delicious. And the garlic, it, like I said, is protected in that skin. So now, after I've got a nice sear, I'm turning that heat all the way down to low. And now we're gonna add a ton of butter. Now wait for the butter to foam. You see that it's foaming now, right? That is the moment we're waiting for. Now we're basting, right? Steaks back in. And now we start basting, my friends. And when I cook fillets like this, every 30 seconds you turn. Every 30 seconds they rotate, just like that. And of course, I'm gonna use all this leftover butter, just in the same way I did my butter steak. When your steaks hit 100 internal, then add your herbs. I don't want to do these herbs too soon, otherwise they will burn. And just keep basting. Another thing is you don't need a ton of herbs in here, right? Like these herbs especially are really powerful. You don't even need all the shallot and garlic. I told you I did that because I want to have leftover. I just like eating it. Another 30 seconds turn, right? Keep doing that. Something else to note here, my friends, is when you're basting, you want to pull the steak way earlier than you think. Because of all this extra aggressive heat from the basting, right? We're getting the heat coming from the bottom, from the pan, as well from the top, from the butter. It's gonna carry over cook a lot more, meaning if you pull this at 125, it might be closer to medium, right? So you really wanna pull it around like 115 or so for a good medium rare, especially because filet should be closer to rare than medium rare, I think. Now at the end, turn up the heat and blast for 1 minute. I like to give it a little bath as it rests. I'll just give these another good 5-minute rest and we'll be ready to slice. All right, let's check it out. Looks pretty good to me, even slightly over, but most of you would probably prefer it like that anyway. Yes, please. You might as well serve it with some of those veggies and just a little bit of that butter from the pan. Woo! I'm telling you, that stuff's like a sauce. And there you have it, my sweet friends, some beautiful filet mignon. Here we go. Oh my gosh. Oh my God. This is so good, it's almost worth demonetizing the video by cussing. And I'm telling you, these shallots, that is the best freaking onion you'll ever eat in your life. Excuse me, sir, where is the liver located on a refrigerator? Psych, I knew the whole time! Well, I hope you enjoyed that, my friend. Make sure to like the video if you enjoyed it and all that jazz and subscribe or whatever. You know I love you when I'm out!